Hi students, a very pleasant and warm greetings to you all. Hope you are doing good. Last session we have seen about network cabling, right? And in this session we are going to start our 14th chapter, that is open source concept. Okay, let's see what is open source. First, in ancient days and all, if you see, most of the softwares were available for free, right? Not only the softwares, the compilers are also available for free only. But here nowadays, if you see, most of the uh, good softwares are in paid version only, right? Here, all the softwares are constructed based on some codes, right? Here, open source software will be developed by a set of programmers, right? If this open source software has to be uh, changed, or if some modifications has to be done in this open source software, a set of programmers or someone can just change the codings and do the modifications in this open source software, and they have to hand over it to the team which is active there to check this, right? They will check it and they will check whether it satisfies all the qualities and the rules of this open source software, right? And if that they are satisfied only, it will be distributed to all to make use of that modifications, right? Let's see what is open source. Open source means this software is freely available and anyone can download it from the browser and they can use it, right? Here the developers will use it, and for making changes, some original codings will be there, and whoever is using it also, they can just use that if any changes is done by the owner, and it will be just updated in that software, and a new version of the software will be available. If you need, you can just use the next version, or you can update that software and make use of that changes also, right? Here, another one software is there, that is proprietary software. That means this is owned by a individual, or this will be owned by a company or a organization, right? The makers of this software have not allowed the users or the developers to view or edit the source code. Okay, open source software will have some changes, and whether if a user knows coding, they also can change it, right? Here the proprietary software, whoever has designed will have the coding, and they won't allow the user to change the code, right? Here some advantages are there. The advantage of this proprietary software is it gives more control, support, training, security, and stability for the user, right? Since this source code is only with that company members, if it is open source, whoever can um, do the coding process, they'll be downloading and they'll be changing, right? Here it plays a main role to keep the data secure, right? Here in a network, it is not easy to find problems, especially when you see when there are many systems connected together. It is not so simple, right? This network will have some traffic problems, will have some ups and downs in all the networks, right? Notification will help the user and the administrator easily to find the working status of this network, right? Here some alert messages will be there. If there is any error or if there is any fault, that details will be sent. And if the hardware or the codings has some problems, it will be mentioned to the creators, right? Next one is NRCFOSS, that is National Resource Center for Free and Open Source Software, right? This is the institution of Government of India. This they help in development of free open source softwares, right? In India, this National Resource Center for Free and Open Source Software, this institution only helps in the development of this free open source software center, right? Let's see the organizations related to this open source. Apache Software Foundation, all the Apache softwares are free, right? Apache, if you want PDF, or if you are using this open office, this and all are free. whoever needs, they can just search in the browser and they can just download it and use it for free, right? So these are the open source software: Apache Software Foundation, the Document Foundation, the Eclipse Foundation, Free Software Foundation, Linux Foundation, Open Courseware Consortium, Open Source Initiative. These are all the organizations related to open source, right? And the next one is Bharat Operating System Solution, that is BOSS, BOSS, Bharat Operating System Solution. This operating system developed in India by Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CDAC, that is Center for Development of Advanced Computing, right? This helps to prompt the use of open source software in India. This supports many Indian languages. And let's see the types of open source licenses. Apache license 2.0, BSD 3 class new or revised license, BSD 2 class simplified or free BSD license, GNU general public license, GPL, GNU library or lesser general public license, LGPL lesser general public license, MIT license, Mozilla public license 2.0, Common Development and Distribution license, Eclipse public license. These are all the types of open source license. Okay, Apache license 2.0, BSD 3 class new or revised license, BSD 2 class simplified or free BSD license, GNU general public license, GPL, GNU library or LGPL, that is lesser general public license, MIT license, Mozilla public license 2.0, and Common Development and Distribution license, Eclipse public license, right? When you change the source code, OSS, this open source software, requires the inclusion of what you have altered, and as well as the method also it needs, right? The software created after code modification may be made available for free, or sometimes they won't be giving it for free also, right? This, let's see what is open source software and free software, the difference between open source software and free software. Okay, the term are often used interchangeably. That means we can say the free software is open source software also, but both deal with the ability to download and modify the software without any cost or without any restriction. Here the free software is a concept which is developed in 1980s. Okay, this is developed by MIT computer science researcher Richard Stallman. He only defined the four conditions as outlined by the non-profit Free Software Foundation. These four freedom emphasize the ability of user to use and enjoy the software as they can see, and as they can just fit it, right? Here if you see this free software, this concept is developed by Richard Stallman. Who is he? He is the MIT computer science researcher in the year 1980, right? He defined four conditions, right, about this non-profit free software foundation. Okay, in contrast, the OSS, that is open source software criteria, this initiative was developed a decade later, place more than emphasis on the modification of software, right, and the consequences of altering the source code, licensing and distribution. And here two overlap are there. Some would say that the difference between this open source software and the free software are philosophically uh, is philosophical, or it is practical also, right? Here it should be either confused with freeware, right? Freeware means that refers to proprietary software that users can download at free of cost, right? Here the source code cannot be changed, right? Here open source software and developers also they have given here. This open source software projects are the collaboration opportunities, and it will improve the skills and build the concepts in the field, right? This domain in which this uh, open source software has developed, they will contribute to the open source community, and that will include communication tools, distributed revision control systems, bug tracker, and task list. Right? Here one more is the testing and debugging tools also. Communication tools, and then next one is first communication, then distribution. The next one is distributed revision control system, and then bug trackers and task list, and at last testing and debugging tools. Right? Here they have given some images or the block representation for how this open source will work and all, right? You just refer it in page number 195 in your book, right? Here a developer is there. The developer will have the source code or the compiled programs, right? And that source code will be having user developers, or that source code will be developed by a developer, or a user will be using that, right? Each user or the developer will have a improved source code, right? They will be modifying something and adding to that software, and they will have the improved source code, right? And this improved source code and everything will come together as a worldwide one for users or developers, right? So this is vastly improved source code. That means all this improved source code will come together, and it will be having a great improvement, right? So that's what they have mentioned here in this, how this open source works in this image. And there we have some more blocks there about contributor and owner. First, with the owner will have the copyright, right? So here owner is having the copyright, and the contributor and the owner will be working for the OSS, open source software project, and it will be distributed to the user, right? And if you see in the next one, in this block, owner will have the copyright, and again the same thing, owners will be having the copyrights for that. Here contributor is not there, and owners will be having it, and the OSS project will be given to the user, right? And the next block, if you see, vendors will be giving the OSS projects to the owner, and the who will have the copyright? If vendor is giving the open source software project to owner, owner only will have the copyright, right? Let's see the benefits of open source software and its tools, right? Here, if you see, nowadays we have so many open source software. We can just select which is for our need. If you are going to use some word, if we are going to use the software for creating a document, or to do a calculation, or to do a PowerPoint, means you can use open source software, right? Likewise, if you are wishing to do an photo editing, means we have open source software for photo editing also. For video editing means also we'll have open source softwares for video editing also. So the complete options of the software can be used without any cost and restrictions, right? So we can prefer this open source software as per our wish. We can just select which software we need with the according to our requirement, right? We can share our ideas with the team. You can write the required code, and you can share it with many. As we can identify the programming techniques of group members, we can learn many ideas, and we can even make our own programs, and we'll have the writing skills, right? We'll be having more efficient writing skills, right? The coding in this open source software are being groomed by many enthusiastical members of the group, right? So if we report a problem that we have some problem in a group in this program, likewise you are going to report a problem, means they'll be clarifying it, and they'll be clearing it, right? Since they work as a team, that group will take effort to clear your problem, right? As we can make changes to the open source software, we can add the most required features in the software, which feature you wish to have, that one you can self change in this open source software, right? Many open source softwares are very user friendly. Like benefits of this open source software, we have some problems also. Like it is a little difficult to work for the beginners, right? If if we have a paid version of some software, when we open itself, we'll have some tips like that. If you go here, if you click this to edit, click this to cut, like where some options and all will be given, and we'll be having some guides there. Here in this open source software, it will be little difficult for the beginners, right? Exchange of files to other softwares is also will be a little tough, right? Sometimes some lack of responsibility or service or problems relating to the hardware compatibility also may happen. Some open source softwares will not be working for some laptops or computer. For some models only they will be designing, right? That means older versions of uh, computers or laptop won't be accepting the present softwares, right? Likewise, some problems are also there in this open source software, right? Let's see the examples of open source application software, okay? NS2, OpenNMS, and Ubuntu, MySQL, PDF Creator, OpenOffice, 7-zip, GNU Cache, GIMP, Blender, Audacity, Audacity, VLC, Mozilla Firefox, Magento, Android, PHP. These are all the free softwares, right? These are all the open source application softwares, okay? Next, we are going to see about network simulation tool, right? Network simulation tool, NS2. In computer networks, this network simulation means this is a method. Here, a software program model the activities of a network, how it will model the activity of the network. It will just calculate the communication between different networks, like routers, and some network objects will have some different activities, right? They will just calculate the communication between these routers, nodes, switches, links, access point and all, and they will just change it, right? A network simulator is a software program that replicates the functioning of a computer network, okay? Here in this simulators, if you see, the computer network is demonstrated with some devices and some traffics also, and the performance can be calculated using this. Here normally if you see, the user can then adapt to this simulator and will accomplish their precise analysis needs. That means according to their need they will be changing that using this coding, and they will be using it, right? The network parameters will define the state of network. That means we have some node placements, where the node is placed, and we'll have some links. Already the link will be there, like, right? That existing links, and the events also. Events means the data will be transmitted from one end to other end. Some link failures will be there. These are all the events, okay? Correct output of the simulation is the trace file. Okay, this trace file means this can document every incident which happens in the simulation, and they are used for examination. Okay, NS2, this is the abbreviation of this network simulation. This network simulator version 2. So only we are saying it is NS2. Okay, this was considered explicitly for exploration in network communication and event-driven open source simulator in computer. That means here this network simulator openly explore the network communication and the event which is driven in this open source simulator in a particular computer, right? And the next one is OTCL and C++. These are used to create and run this NS2. Okay, this works on Windows, and also this works in the Linux platforms also, so that this supports the wired network and also the wireless network, right? Here it is also use the command line interface as the user interface. Okay, API, this is the pure event based software tool, and this will have a super simulation design. It has more models which will help the user to get the desired output without big problems. They can get the desired output very easily. Okay, next we are going to see about network management system. Okay, OpenNMS. NMS means network management system. Okay, this is a free and open source initiative grade network monitoring and management platform. Okay, this is used to create a management and monitoring purpose of a free and open source software. Right here, this is established and maintained by a community of users, and their developers will be some developers will be there by the OpenNMS group. Okay, this offers services, training, and support. The main aim of this OpenNMS is they have to be distributed, scalable management application platform for all. Okay, the features of fault configuration, accounting, performance, security. That will say it as FCAPS. Fault configuration, accounting, performance, security. This network management model. Okay. Presently, the emphasis is on fault and performance management. Okay. This was intended to cope tens of thousands of devices from a single server, as well as achieve unlimited devices using a cluster of services. Here, this OpenNMS will be compressed of a discovery engine to routinely configure the management of the network devices without any operators, right? That means this OpenNMS will have a discovery engine. For what this discovery engine is used? For a regular interval, this network devices can be managed without any operator interventions and all, right? This is written in Java and is issued under the GNU, that is General Public License. Okay, this OpenNMS is the first software in the world for network monitoring and the management with the open source options and all. Okay, here you have two types of open source NMS. One is Meridian and another one is Horizon. Okay, when we need a stability or a long-term support, we'll choose the Meridian, right? This is the best for enterprises, and also this is good for business. Okay, Meridian means for best for enterprises and businesses. Horizon means this will be used for innovation. If innovation is done frequently, they'll be using this horizon. Okay, if business or enterprises needs, they'll be having the Meridian. Okay, this is the best for this horizon is the best for IT ecosystem. Okay, new technology monitoring, open source NMS. This open NMS was released in 1999, right? This was released by Steve Giles, Brian Weaver, and Luke Rindfuss. Okay, Steve Giles, Brian Weaver, and Luke Rindfuss. Okay, OpenOffice NMS was released in the year 1999 by Steve Giles, Brian Weaver, and Luke Rindfuss. Okay, in the year 2004, this OpenNMS group was created by Balog, Matt Brozowski, that is Matt, M-A-T-T, Brozowski, okay, Matt Brozowski and David Hustes, okay, David Hustes. This open NMS group was created by Balog, Matt Brozowski, and David Hustes, okay, David Hustes, and this is written in Java only, and this can run in all type of platforms also. Okay, this gives us event management, notification, provisioning, discovery, service monitoring, data collections and all. Okay, this has won a lot of awards for being the best open source software. Okay, here this OpenNMS has three main functional areas. They are service monitoring. Service monitoring means here a number of monitor modules will be there, and it will be governed if any network based services are accessible. Network based services means like ICMP, HTTP, DNS and all. Okay, Next one is a data gathering. Data gathering means using SNMP and JMX. Okay. Event management and notification. That means this comprises of alarm reduction and robust announcement systems with accelerations and duty schedules. That means this event management and notification will come along with the alarm reduction. That means that alarm, that if there is any fault, that alarm will be on, right? That one, and the robust announcement systems with the acceleration with the duty schedules. Okay, in this period of increased competition and cyber crimes, the computer used by an individual, or if a computer is used by a business organization, they will have spy hardware of rivals. That means open source this in this time and all, since there is cyber crimes and all are done, if it is a individual software, or if it is a software system or a computer used by a business organization also, they will have some spy hardware, right? This open source hardware technology helps in such threat. Here in this technique, if you see, we get the components of the hardware and its circuit diagram, so that we can remove the spyware if that is found there, right? So we have come to the end of this chapter. You make sure you read this open source concept today itself, right? This is the easy concept, right? Open source software or open source concept means the softwares which are available for free, we'll say it as open source. And what are the disadvantages? What are the advantages here? What are the benefits here? Previously and all, we had so many open source software, and nowadays if you see, some of the software has become in a paid version, right? So we need to have a clear idea about this open source concept, and about this open source licensing and this network simulation tool, that is NS2, right? Read about this and all, and in glossary section also they have given some abbreviations for some words and all. You just read it and try to learn this open source license and the benefits of open source software today itself. Okay, open source license, that question in page number 194. Okay, about this open source license and the benefits of open source software, that is in page number 196. Okay, in 196 top, if you see, benefits of open source software and tools are there, right? So you learn that question today itself. Okay, thank you for your valuable time. Stay home, stay safe, take care, bye.